So thanks for joining Intel 1010 Book Club Q1 sharing session. Alright, you can call me Lancer or Kao Hong. I'm your host today, and my co-host Pauline is sitting in front of the laptop, saying hi already, facilitating the online question. So for those who join online, please ensure that your mic is muted, okay? Unless you have questions, but you hold until the end of the session. We will have the Q&A for you to ask questions. Alright? So please be noted that this session will be recorded for our internal reference and for our usage. Alright, let's get started. So we are just on time. As modern Malaysian parents, many of us are questioning if we do not use rotan, how do we effectively to discipline our kids? So we welcome Anne Tham, founder and CEO of Ace EdVenture, an award-winning education group recognized by Cambridge and also the British Parliament. She born and raised in Penang, and she has parented for thousands of students across her network of her pioneering schools. So she get the unique insight into what truly the kids ready, how truly the kids ready learn. Sorry, let me see my script. So her approach focuses on character formation and understanding how actually the children learn rather than relying on the traditional punishment method. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give Anne a warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lancer.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello, thank you so much, Lancer. That was a fantastic introduction, okay? And you got it spot on as to exactly what we do and why we do what we do.
Okay, thank you.
First, before I go into a little bit about my background, I have a question because we're talking about modern parenting, right?
Yep.
So, like right now, how many of you even have a rotan in your house? Many homes don't have rotans anymore, you know? So the key thing that we are actually dealing with is actually the issue of discipline. All right. So the rotan is a very symbolic thing. From in fact, we went through trees before last time, training trees, the 40 principles of engineering to innovation for engineering, and so we were figuring out how to how do we discipline with a modern way of instead of a rotan. So we actually shrank it down to make it more efficient. It's very funny. But coming back to this, right? As a teacher, first and foremost, people have to understand I'm a parent. I'm a parent. And then I became a teacher, right? So then after that, I became an entrepreneur, accidentally became an entrepreneur. So the order of who I am is parent, teacher, entrepreneur. So I will share with you because whatever I've been doing, it started off with education because my children were really young at that time. So 40 years ago, I started teaching. So I've been in education for that long, and I was dealing with college students. You see, so I saw the outcome of an education system and parenting. The results were showing up in the students in my classes at college level. Then when I started my English classes, which I did actually for my children's sake, they were 7 and 9 years old at the time, but then when I had classes, I had a lot of secondary students, primary students. Now bear in mind, I have 2 girls. Okay, my 2 daughters. And so dealing with daughters is very different from dealing with boys. So for me, my experience with handling the male species of the young, it was from all the classes that I dealt with. And the thing is, a lot of people don't have the luxury of seeing the outcomes. And I did because I was teaching in college. So I saw the boys, how they were coming up. And for me, I was very chill because I could see that even the boys who looked like they were going to be rebelling because they had long hair, they had ponytails, you know, this is in college, right? And they had, back then, the pants down to here, they showed the brand of the, you know, their briefs and everything. So that was during that time. But then there were some of the loveliest students, you know. But when you step into a class and you see boys like that, you get worried, but they're lovely. Girls, they were wearing makeup, They were dressed better than even the teachers, but they were lovely, lovely people. So from there, I realized, the outcomes, and that, therefore not to judge, not to judge at all. But going backwards, and when I was teaching, my English classes, I had kids from 4 years old until 17. So very few people get to teach that age group all the way to college, and even the same kid for 13 years in a row. So I could see them grow, and I could track, and I could see their lives, and I could see what worked and what didn't work. This is the space I'm coming from. And I've done that for thousands of students. That's one. Number two is, I've trained teachers on how to do this. We've done a lot of talks for parents, and we get feedback as to why it worked as well, and it's worked for them. The other one is, now I base it on outcomes. You want to look at, as business owners, and you run businesses, you want feedback from the customers.
Yep.
Wow, I tell you, you work with kids and you parent children, you got to know whatever they're doing is a feedback for you. They are your customers, like they were my customers, right? And so their feedback is immediate, and they have no filter. They will show you, or they will do, if they like or if they don't like. All right. So I base a lot of whatever I do on the outcomes with the kids, and that's where I'm coming from, the space I'm coming from, with whatever it is I'm sharing with you. And I would like for you to be able to take lots of tools back with you that you can use immediately with your children. Are we cool with that?
Yep.
All right. Do you like the sound of that? Now, normally, if I can see the audience, I will ask, how many of your kids are like teenagers, and then to have a sense. Some of them, how many of them are in primary school, and how many of them are really young. But since I cannot see, and therefore I'm gonna jump back and forth. But the outcome at secondary is critical, because you want to lay the right groundwork in order for them to turn out right at secondary and to be productive and contributing adults in future. So this is where I'm coming from, and I give you all these things that I share. Okay? So now, you can see that my children are actually my business partners. Yeah, we work very closely together. We've been doing this. They actually started working with me at 7 and 9 years old.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Okay.
they were already when their friends were having holidays, they were helping me, with counting papers, sorting out papers for my classes, stapling, even sorting out for the teachers. They never complained ever. So even if I did take a few days out of their holidays, they never complained, right? So how do you get that from children that age? First day of my classes, English classes, they're there to help me after school, helping collect fees, talking to parents, and before that, they might even have to help me with phone calls. 7, 8, 9 years old? No, I never worried about whether they were too young for that. They did it, okay? So till today, and I gave them a choice whether we wanted to continue and do the business together. We started the schools together. Without them, I couldn't have done it. All right, and they said yes, it made sense for them to continue because they liked the fact that we were making an impact on education, right? So that's both of them at work with me, and this is us going on holidays together. All right. Now, I also will share with you the third generation. This is my granddaughter. So everything we're doing is to make sure education is doing the right thing, and parenting, we're doing it right. So as you can see, a lot of the parenting styles came from me testing it out on thousands and thousands and thousands of students, and then knowing whether it's passing it on to the second generation, whether it works the same way, passing it on to our teachers, whether it works. So what I'm coming from is we know it works. Okay, so you were concerned, Billy, on whether you're doing the right thing with your kids or not, right? So I'm sharing with you that this is coming from handling a lot of kids. And what happened for me was I was dealing with the secondary students. I got a lot of feedback on the education side and also what was going on in their homes. See, children come to school, must tell you, they tell you everything. They tell you everything. From what happens at home to what parents say, what parents do. And I can see Anthony smiling over there because we get that a lot, especially the primary kids. So with that, we know what has worked and what hasn't worked. And I went home as my children were growing. I tweaked and I dealt with them based on the feedback I got from the older kids. So I never had a problem with them by the time they headed into being a teenager. you know, and then I also knew what to do when they headed out to come out to work, and how to support them, and when to challenge them, and when to discipline them, and what it means. Okay? Right. So my third generation, my granddaughter, she's coming along, and the beauty of it, she's just 15 months old, and already I can see that there's a lot that she's learning from us. So what energy that we bring to her is so critical because of who she's going to become. All right? Now, question. Whether the parenting is too hard or too soft. And I know you swung both ways at home, but you question, should you do more of this or more of that? Yeah? Hence, if you're online, you can use your electronic hands and kind of wave or something, yeah, so that we know. I won't be able to see, so feedback-wise, polling, if she can indicate to me, will be very, very powerful.
Emoji like thumbs up, and then you can see the
Yeah.
screen there.
Thank you. Thumbs up, clap hands, possible. Yeah, so this, we know that we understand that this is a question. So today, I can share with you how your child can become confident, mature, and disciplined without using any of the fear-based methods. Are we okay? All right? So this is what you're going to go back with. Okay, now, question is, this is what I get a lot in school, and to extrapolate that now is us as parents. What I'm going to ask you is, what is discipline to you? What does it mean to you? Because we get asked this question a lot. What is discipline like in your school? So the question we ask back is that, what does it mean to you? What exactly do you mean by discipline? Because I need to go fast, I may not be able to get answers from you, but you can type it in. All right, you can type it in. So when we ask back that question, parents always pause. They pause. Yeah, exactly what is discipline? Okay, so when you dig a little bit further, we realize the parents want their kids to listen to them and do what they say, right? So then we have to ask the question of whether that's discipline or that's obedience. They are very, very, very different. Okay, so the key thing is that how you deal with them at the young level up to primary 6 is very critical, because whether they come out completely needing instructions all the time, or whether they're close to you or not, right? Or whether they're on point with you and you have a very close relationship with them. So you that is where you need to understand. When people go for total obedience, and that's a number of schools that do that, that's why I brought this thing up here, all right, the human element. The problem in disciplining in a lot of schools is that, you know, the exam conditions, right? Exam condition is you sit still, you do your exam, you don't talk to anybody, you don't even look at each other in case you're copying, etc. Now, what has happened, unfortunately, in the Eastern style of education is it got replicated. The whole condition of the exam became the classroom condition from primary 1 all the way. And some kindergartens are doing that. Sit still, keep quiet, and do your work. Lots and lots of homework. But that is actually simulating exam conditions. They are kids. Learning conditions are completely different. So what went missing is the human element. All right? So now I'm coming back to disciplining in the home as well. All right? Because you need to understand what it is that you want. Is it total obedience, or is it you want discipline? Now, discipline also, there are 2 types. Whether it's external discipline or internal discipline, which is self-discipline we're going for, right? So if you want self-discipline, the way you deal with the children has to be very, very specific as to, not specific as you must follow these rules, but it has to be very specific to what you mentioned, because I picked up on the children, how they learn, how they actually function, what works and when they thrive and what doesn't make them thrive, because I could see both. Okay, I'm one of the few who have seen education across the world, because when I was teaching in the college, I had students from India, from the East Asia to West Asia, all the way to even South America. I've got students from Africa, and so on. So if you want to talk about discipline, I've seen education and discipline, I've seen them across the world. So this is the space I'm coming from. And I could see what worked for them, what couldn't. So right now, I'm going to share with you what a lot of people do not know as to the nature of the children, okay? Then once you understand that, it's easier to tweak your disciplinary style or how you want to move them in a manner that you want. Clear? All right? Yeah. So the human element comes in. Don't just go by that discipline which is external. The external discipline does not take into account the human nature of the children. Are we clear? Yeah. And we are going for self-discipline, not external. Yeah. Now, at the end of this talk, you get a clear framework for discipline that doesn't swing between extremes. Okay. Practical tools you can use tonight at home, and if you see this, you want to see this philosophy in action, we'll show you how to take it to the next step as well. Okay, but I'm going to give you tools that I don't think many people will tell you because they don't know. And the other ones, I'm also going to share information about how children work that most people don't tell you either. Okay? If I offend anybody, please bear with me because I do end up offending people. Okay? Oops. Now, so I'm not even going to ask you this question. If I have to ask you, you wouldn't be here, okay? Right? Because you know there is a way. That's why you're here. Okay? So my job is to share with you. Yes, it can be done. Now, a lot of people think that they look at discipline as binary. You're 1 or you're 0, either or, not both. Okay, so if you go strict, you may end up with creating trauma in the kids. Now, some schools, they use being strict, and they ended up the children being called sampah masyarakat, which is rubbish of society, or even useless and things like this. Good kids being called that in the schools. All because in some subjects, they may not be very good at it, so the teachers think that they are being lazy, but it's not. And I've got great kids who are just very creative, cheeky, yes, you know, but they're amazing people but called sampah masyarakat. And every time I share that, their parents always in the audience, they say, yes, I was called that too. But what I have never seen any teacher training or even parental training that say that you should call your kids rubbish, useless, moyong, right? I got one kid showed me the parents' messages, you know. Yeah, said, okay, some words I can't say because, you know, it's going to be out there. It's not swearing, but it's a 4-letter word, but not swearing, yeah. And the parents say, you know, go eat, yeah. You know, you talk about in Cantonese, it's really, really rough. Does that make sense? Yeah, so for me, so that is the trauma that they go through. That kid, you yell, she panics when people yell, okay? That's a teenager, she was 15 years old. She panics when people yell. Gentle, then they get spoiled, all right? Now, how do you be gentle, which most of us want to be, and be able to get the results that we want, all right? Now, so these are the 2 poisons to pick from, okay? Technically, that's what the suggestions. Because you get a lot of information online, and very often people show you that, you know, you don't hit kids and so on, but then, really? Kids know how to drive you nuts. They really know. Try handling hundreds of students. We have 2,000 students in KL, by the way, yeah? And we will be here in Penang now. We've started, and yeah, anyway. This is where we are. But then, because if you do need help, come and see us. We can hold talks for you and so on and so forth. Not a problem. Okay. Now, the thing is that you have to understand the nature of kids. Kids are not out there to get you. They're not there because I'm going to get daddy. I'm going to make him really angry. I'm going to go after mommy. And I really don't like this teacher. This is what I realized. So a lot of people tend to take whatever the kids do personally, but they don't. They don't do it because of you. It's just by nature they are very reactive, they're very spontaneous. They don't think the filter is not quite there, even up to teenage years. So what they think they do, if I need to talk to a friend, I will talk to a friend. So if I need to say something, or if I'm unhappy with my mother, I show face, I roll my eyes, it really drives parents nuts, you know. So they'll just do it. They don't think further than that, all right? So a lot of times, like say for instance, if they choose to be rude to you, okay, what they're actually asking for is where is your boundary? Where is your line? They're testing. All adults are fair game to them. Each adult, they will test you separately. That people don't know, you see. So it's like, I train you to be respectful, but then you're rude to this person. Why? You're testing that person. All right, and then very often, if you know your kid is a good kid and they're testing that, that means there's something that person is saying or doing that make them song, like really song. Like there's something sitting in their craw that makes them really, but they don't know how to explain it. They don't even know. It's just that they know that this person is saying or doing something that really doesn't sit well with them. That's it. And it will show up in their behavior. So then they will test. But otherwise, if you are fine with them, they find that you treat them, with the respect that they should be getting as human beings, right? Not as your elder, but as human beings. They will respond in kind, right? But otherwise, they'll test boundaries. That's what they have been put on earth to do, okay? So, and that is healthy. It is kids that don't challenge, you will start to worry, because when they go out there, whatever people tell them, they just follow. Or worst thing is that they could actually end up getting bullied. They need to question just how, and that's what you may need to do to tweak it. Okay, all right. Then it is their nature to push boundaries. Please don't take it personally, nor see it as rebellion. You need to rechannel their whole purpose. All right, yeah. And then, okay, so the question behind the behavior, like rudeness and whatever else that's showing up, like the way they question, how come Titi can do this, or the younger brother can do this and I cannot, that kind of thing. What about my friends? They will challenge you with all that. So the thing is that they are asking, where's the line? They feel very, very comforted when they know where your line is, okay? Yeah, so yes, be assertive in drawing the line for them, okay? For me, it was when we did the school, was that our lines are bigger. The area is bigger. Unlike some in schools, that the lines can be very tightly drawn around them. Ours is a little bigger, so it allows them to move. And then if they push too far, then we will yank them back. All right, that's our job as parents and as educators. And bear in mind, the things that I'm sharing with you is from educator and a parent, because all of us as parents are the biggest educators in our children's lives. Bear in mind, huh? So punishment alone answers the question with fear. So that doesn't work either. No boundaries answers it with confusion. So what you want to do is actually to set the boundaries. It is not about punishment versus not punishment. In fact, take away the word punishment. What you want to do is set the boundary and the consequences that come with it. The consequences are critical, because some of the consequences are punishments, but they are consequences. Because when you deal with consequences, then they have to make the choice. So they make choices. The children then become very intelligent because they know how to make the choice. Okay, I shared with some parents, you give it to them, and sure enough, after the second talk, she came back and she said that the son actually picked, the one that the mom wanted him to pick, right? So they are very smart that way, okay? And so you need to hold it calmly, consistently, and confidently. It's when we keep wavering, yeah? I will teach you what sort of boundaries to set. You must make sure you don't set boundaries you cannot keep, okay? Because if you do that, then you will waver, and when you waver, then they know that boundary is not firm and that is negotiable. All right? So here's the key. Hold boundaries that matter, let the petty ones go. Like say, I give you the kind of things in my home, right? You see, my daughters, they're daughters, so it's a lot easier. Houses with girls is very different from houses with boys. Boys is like a tornado goes through it. All right, so I go to my friends' houses, it's usually generally more messy than having girls. So, but my daughter's rooms are messy, right? So I have to decide right there and then. In other ways, they're kind people, they're good, and they work with us, and I have a very good relationship with them. That I've got to decide, do I fight that war on the messiness, or do I do it another way? All right, so I'll share with you what other ways are possible without saying a thing, and you make your point, and then after that they will know what to do. Okay, or maybe I'll give you a little tip here. Messiness in the room, especially you see shoes and clothes on the floor. I told a parent this once, and it came from a book, the book I will recommend to you all. So I told him, you can do this. Just gather everything and put it back into a wardrobe. The first question the parents ask is, but these are all dirty clothes. See, parents see dirty clothes. Yeah? But what it is that you make that point once, they'll never do it again. You just put it back in the wardrobe. Okay? Anything, do it a second time, put it back. Don't say a thing. Don't even nag and don't even tell them. They'll know what to do. So my friend did it once, and the daughter towed the line after that. All right? It's very, very effective. Do rather than say is the one that I must tell you. Okay? Must teach you to do. Do rather than say. Okay? Can? One tip, now, and then set boundaries you can see through. Because one of my friends, what she did was, because it's a teenager, she told the daughter that, you don't come home at this time, you don't come home. Wow. As a parent, are you okay if your daughter doesn't come home? You get what I'm saying? So this is what I mean by, setting a boundary or a consequence that you cannot see through. Okay, what you need to do is, I'll teach you how to do, is to remove privileges. All right? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to set the problems, because it's from the problems that then you'll understand how to fix it. The first pillar is, the first problem is parenting dilemma. Okay, it's a trap that most parents are stuck in. You have two terrible options. We just quickly go through them. The rotan. They obey, but at what cost? Resentment, fear, relationship built on control. These are the key things, resentment, fear, and relationship built on control. Option B, no rotan, which is called gentle parenting, and sometimes it's called permissive parenting. Everything okay, don't stop the children because you let them explore, but you worry will they become soft, spoiled, and unable to handle the real world. Okay, now you're caught between these two conundrums. It is two extremes, and you have seen both sides fail. Right? You see the kid who is too entitled, at the first obstacle, they give up. We've seen it at the workplace. That's even more horrifying. All right? And I know you have too. The other option, of course, is an obedient child that won't question or don't even think for themselves, and you end up, what in the world? This is so obvious. How can you not even think of that, or went down the path and created a lot of problems, right? So you've seen both. And as parents, I know many are worried and fearful that they will create either or type. Okay? Yep. So the real cost is when parents are wavering and not quite sure what to do. All those days and months or years, your child is still learning. The children is learning, just maybe not what you intended. They're learning that boundaries can be negotiated, and the other is that love is conditional, especially when a lot of their rewards and punishment are based on their studies, on homework, on whether they want to sit and study or not. Because bear in mind, guys, the books are really boring, the exams don't work, so we are the ones who have got to make it exciting for them. So if it is exciting, they will do it. But because it's not exciting, they don't want it. Yeah, but you see the things they love, you can't stop them. You can't stop them. One more bit, Mom. Or they want to be with their friends because they have so much fun doing basketball and things like this. So if they like it, they will do it non-stop. Therefore, is it really they're lazy? Don't want? No. It's actually the work itself, because it's not engaging, it's not stimulating, and so on. So you've got to see where the problem lies for the children. Then as parents, we will need to help them to make it a lot more digestible, that they can consume it and that they will do it. Okay, right. The one on so the conditional part, it's like they think that it's only if they're good students that they are good enough for the parent. Otherwise, the parent cannot see that they're kind people, that they are helpful at home. They don't see that. They keep worrying that the child is not studying hard enough, and therefore that who they are in the eyes of the parents, of their worth, is only based out of results. Okay? Yeah, so it's conditional. Even though it's not conditional, right? Now, rotan or not to rotan is not the right question. It's the wrong one. So what the real question is, what do I need to do to raise a child that is empowered and also resilient? That is what we're looking for today. Okay? Because they have access to so much information that you really, really need to get them to have the ability that they can go out there and make a difference out there and do the right thing. And the other is that they're resilient and don't crumble when you're not around to support them. Yeah, we're not going to be around forever. But you'll be surprised that as parents, you need to know if your children are below 10 years old, they will live double the current lifespan. That means it's 140 to 150 years old. So what is the education and parenting style needed for them to live that long? Okay? And they'll be working for 100 years. That one didn't come from me, it came from scientists, and it came from people from industries out there. Okay? Now, so we go down to the second problem, or the second pillar, is there are missing models that is not there for parents to be able to choose to use. Okay? So we're looking at gentle parenting is if it is without standards, then we are setting the kids up to become grown-ups without grit, or they become older children without grit. Okay? Now, research actually tells you empathy alone, because like trying to understand them and things like this, does not build resilience in the children. Okay, so you literally need both empathy, but you also need the standards in order to teach them to become resilient. Now, what we have done is, over the years, we came to a 40 years, this is 40 years in the making, and it's been tested out for 40 years. To bring East and West together. Now, the West, that you tell the West that they got no standards, they'll get very upset, okay? Right? But the problem is that when the kids are young, there's a lot more focus on curiosity, reasoning, and emotional safety, okay? And, but Asians, we go down this path of standards, expectations, and we follow through with either nagging or punishments and checking on them, but very often without worrying about whether they are curious or they stay curious, whether we are reasoning with them or not. Like, I'm the parent, you do what I say, you know, that kind of thing. There are a lot. And same thing happening in adults, how adults deal with the children as educators as well. Okay? Are we all right? You need both. Now, how do you know whether you're doing the right thing? So you can already judge with your kids. That's why I say the kids are the best quick feedback. They'll be the first one to give you immediate feedback on whether if they push back, it's healthy. The one that you don't want is actually willful. They're being very willful with you, just challenge you just because they want to. But if they're pushing back because they're not quite getting something and there's something they really, really want to do, you know, this pushing back, I have to tell you, is entrepreneur trait. Don't take no for an answer. Okay? Please know the kids are the best. They've got that best skill. There's no for them. They ask mommy, mommy say no, they go ask daddy. Daddy say no, they go back to mommy, they say daddy said yes. Yeah? Or both sides no, go to grandmother. Okay, grandparents. You know them. And another day they'll come back and pester you again. You get where I'm coming from? So the children are with that. This is them pushing back. But it's gentle. Okay? Now, how you handle that then is another thing, So we'll go through that one. But when things get hard and they push through, and you know that they've done that with you, like sometimes going hiking with you and it was really tough, and they say, come, let's do it together, and they did, then you're on the right track as well. Watch out for all these little behaviors that will tell you, okay? That's your feedback. And now this one is very important. Whether as a teenager they will keep their world open to you or not is how you deal with them when they are in primary school. It shows up only at secondary level. So for a lot of parents, I get this, they don't want to go out with us, okay? They don't want to go out with us. And then the other one is, you know, every time they come home, they just go up to the room and don't want to come out, and only come down during meals. So you already know that, and wow, I had one case where, this is from 5 kids. So this girl, you know, normally they say, oh, it's her birthday. So they say, happy birthday, and so on. So I say, oh, you're going to get your driving license soon, right? No, teacher, and I don't want. I say, huh? Oh, you don't want to get, because most kids get very excited about getting the driving license. This one, she said, no, I don't want my driving license. So I said, but why? Oh, if I did get my license, then I would have to help my mother. Wow! I'm like, what is going on that you don't even want to help your mother who has done everything for you? You see, you see what I'm saying? It is my secondary students, their answers that make me ponder, So what am I doing with my kids while they are young? Am I also turning them into somebody that don't want to help me? Wow, it really got me thinking. Okay, so the challenge is when they are teens, whether they'll spend time with you, are they close to you, and so on. So at kid level, what we need to do to get there. All right? Are we okay? Yep. Are getting things so far? Okay, good. Now, so the question now is, are you raising an obedient child or a disciplined one? I have a lot of parents, by the time the kids are teenagers, they will start to change and they will start to challenge more and more because that is their way of taking that steps out into adulthood. It's a given, it's biological and psychologically, scientifically, that is how they develop. So the thing now is this, and the parents will come to me, they used to listen, now they won't listen anymore. And I was with a father the other day, and the kid is very, very reserved in front of him. But in school, he's a good kid. He's a good kid. All right? So we know that, sometimes it's more about how the parents handle. Yeah? It shows up differently. That's all. So we actually have to help the parents. Yeah? Now, so obedient children follow orders, disciplined children follow principles even when no one is watching. Now, this is another indicator. Watch out for this. If your kid spends time with your relatives, the auntie, uncle, cousins, or even your friends, they sometimes go out with or even they follow their friends and you get feedback from the parents, right? If the feedback is, wow, your kid is really good, I really, what did you do? How did you parent him or her? Now, please don't say this. He's not like that at home. You have to pat yourself on the back and go home and tell your kid how proud you are, because how they behave when you are not around is an indicator of how you have parented them. Okay? Don't go back and say, auntie said all these nice things about you. How come at home you don't behave this way? That is the first thing that you'll do to disconnect them. Okay, you go back and you tell them you really are so proud of them. Wow, I tell you, that level go up so high. Or if you go back and you say, auntie said all these nice things about you, level go up, but how come you don't do it at home? It drops. You disconnect. Straight away you disconnect. Okay? Makes sense now, huh? If ever you want to deal with their behavior at home, don't do it at that time. You just talk you give feedback of what the auntie said or your relative said, but later on another time you want him to adjust certain behavior, deal it separately, never at the same time. So in classes, we do the same thing. My own children, I do the same thing. That's why they are very, very close to me. Okay? And they know what to do with my granddaughter. Okay. Now, okay, the third one is the multiply. This one, if you get it right, you can get your kid really eating out of your hands. Okay? Now, what is a multiply? If you can forget about permissive parenting, and gentle parenting. You need to be a creative parent. Okay? You got to be many steps ahead of your kids. You got to do things that are completely unexpected. Okay? Now, how you respond to them changes everything. Okay? So the more unexpected it is, the better. Now, if you have little children and they throw a tantrum, right, 3 or 4 years old, they throw a tantrum. When I taught one of my friends this, you know what he did? He sat down there and threw a bigger tantrum than his son. The son like, whoa, what happened? What is daddy doing? Right? So he stopped. So you see what I mean or not? And my friend had such a hoot of a time. He was laughing so much. So there's no anger, frustration on the parent side. Okay? So now you got your kid. Right? So if another time you do it again, and then if the third time doesn't work, what you do is that, okay, you know what? I will sit here and throw a tantrum with you and get upset with you. Oh, so now you are together with him. Let's get upset together. And you do it. Okay? So you see where I'm going now? Yeah, there are many, many ways to do it. Just be very, very unexpected with how you react. And your reaction is doing rather than saying. Sometimes it's the saying, and I'll show you what I mean, all right? But the doing, it really shocks them. Yeah. Creative responses keep you calm and get through to your child. And you know what else? You develop a very healthy creative mind. You know, and the more creative you are, the more you can get to your kid, the happier you'll be. Oh yeah, I got this, rather than, my God, I don't know how to get through to this boy or this girl. All right? Now, and because you react in a way they don't expect. Always remember that, okay? Now, tool number 1 is be, okay? Now, reactive parenting really doesn't work, right? Because yelling and punishment works. Both yelling and punishment, they work. But as a last resort, never it be the first resort. It's the last resort, okay? And if in your tool bag of how to parent is mostly yelling or punishment, then you will lose them very quickly, because you'll lose power very quickly, and you will lose your sanity as well. Okay? So the thing is that usually homework is an issue, you know, or house chores. So very often the question is, instead of saying, why didn't you do your homework, which comes across as an accusation, you ask, what happened? What happened? Okay? Sometimes you'll be surprised at their answers. And if it's a real legit answer, wow, okay, luckily I didn't yell. I've had situations like this, you know, just because I asked my kids or my student this question, so what happened there? And they told me, I said, wow, thank God I didn't yell, you know? Yeah. There were times I've yelled and had to apologize to kids also, or even my own kid, you know, when I found out the real reason. So after that, I learned how to pause and ask this question. Okay? Now, instead of saying don't cry or stop crying, which is dismissive of their emotions, because they're so upset they're crying, right? So just say that, what's making you feel that way? The minute you ask this question, you are connecting with them. Now, that doesn't mean that there's no consequences, yeah? But what you need to do is you start off with understanding. You go for understanding first. So when the kids feel that they've been heard and seen, then reasoning is possible. Does that make sense? Yeah. Just because you listen to them first, if you yell at them first, you know what goes on in their head? You see, like my parent, just because I do this one thing, they yell at me. What about all these other things that I have done? They didn't say anything. That's what goes in first. But when you ask them and you give them that chance to tell you, even though the answer doesn't really can rile you up, keep calm, and then you reason with him as to why it's not making any sense whatsoever. So when you reason with them, am I supposed to accept that? Ask the question. They will tell you. They're smart enough. So treat them like the smart young people they are at whichever age they're at. Okay? So then the next thing is you need to have the consequences. So tool number 2 is productive consequences. So if consequence is a must, make sure it's productive, that the thing gets done, that whatever you want, you get it your way. Okay? But it is productive. Now, this is what I mean. Say, for instance, the one on, let's say you want them to do some house chores, right? Or back to the homework thing, yeah? They didn't do their homework. So instead of saying punish or nag them, scold them, or you say every day I'm coming back to you and scolding you about your homework. You know your duty and your schedule is to finish your homework, right? So they can't, right? Because it's just boring. It's just not stimulating for them. So or they can get smacked because it's like a 5-year problem already, right? So they get smacked. So that one is what we call the kind of consequences that is not productive. All right? What you do is, okay, since you didn't do your homework, you do it now. You do it now, but at the same time, you will help me with this, whatever you need. Whether it's to wash the car, or to help Ye or Mama with something, yeah, that they need help with, you put it there, or even to clean the shelves and rearrange things. You get them to do an extra bit of work. Does that make sense? So then that way they learn that the consequences actually teach them something, right? It doesn't just inflict pain. So they get it done. Now what we did with my daughters was I reasoned with them. Number one, I reasoned with them because I told them, I said, look, the results go up and down like a yo-yo. This is already standard 5, standard 6, yeah? Up and down. So when you sit tight on them, the results are good. Then you say, okay, result good this year, I don't have to yell at her and all that, pop, it went down. So I use that as got track record already, ma. So I said, okay, look, let me put it this way. Let's look at the results. When I sat with you, you did well. And when I stopped and allow you to just do whatever the school is telling you, if it's enough, then your result would not have dropped. But it dropped, right? So shall we work together? So I got her permission, say, okay, we'll work together, mommy. Rather than me yelling at her, right? So that was me reasoning. So when it comes to productive consequence, so instead of forcing her to sit and do the work, because I was teaching classes in the evening, my husband, so I talked to my husband, I said, can you just sit with her? Because he's back after work, he could be reading a book, usually he's reading a book. So I said, can you just sit with her and read a book? Instead of reading in the living room, just sit at the dining room and you read with her. So she sat down to do her work and my husband was reading a book. So to the kids, is mommy and daddy are willing to put the money where their mouth is. They are willing to spend time with me. So even though you don't help them with their work, they're doing it. So you see the productive consequence? Yeah? You want them to study? Okay, let's go check out which topic is hard for you. Let's go check it out online. Because you're like Intel. You know what's available out there. And let them learn and both discuss together. And let's see how this works. Let's go and check out and find out how this works in real life. You know, and you can discuss. So it becomes a touch point for you and your child. Whether it's mommy son time, mommy daughter time, daddy daughter time, it will build up for you in very powerful ways, okay? And then there's productive consequences. And then, oh yeah, and you know the result of it is that you stay sane. Your kid learns self-discipline. At the same time, your relationship is intact, yeah? Doing it the positive relationship way, okay? Now, if a child rebels, do you reward or punish? When you want to reward when they least expect it. So I never tie my daughters, like buying them a gift based on the results. I never did. I based it on their efforts. I see effort, I will like stay with me, they studied, they finished their work, you know, and everything. The fact that the teacher said good things about them, I would reward on things like this. You reward the process, not the outcome. Because the results, you all know what schools do. They put the exam so hard. Sometimes it's not even in the content that they've studied. Because the teachers just want to make it harder to set the standard higher, right? But it's not. When you test content from a different level, it's a different ball game altogether, all right? So you don't know what the teachers have done, and they are learning. So learning the test is testing whether they have learned. And if the kids get B, they get into trouble for not getting an A. But a B is good because they're keeping up with the learning. It's just they've not mastered it. So things like this, you need to know. And so you reward when they least expect. Like say they did with you, sat with you, they did the homework, finished for the whole week. Okay, let's go watch a movie together because you were very, very good with that. And then you set this habit. Now, after a while that my husband's sitting with them, they didn't need to do it anymore. You know why? They saw it in their results. And because now they associate learning with something pleasant and not something that they get into trouble with. All right? So don't equate learning with being. And even house chores. House chores, wash. When you wash with the kids, and they see, oh, it's fun. And sometimes splash a bit of water, they enjoy it. So they don't see it as, instead of, you see, the other day you all didn't wash, today now you help me, right? But the other day you didn't. Don't go down that path. Just thank them for washing with you. They will do more because you replace it. This came from a psychologist, said you replace it with something positive. Okay? Right. And they'll do more of it for you. So now, punishment can be in the form of removing privileges. So rather than smacking or whatever, and this is where the boundary doesn't shift. Because they can cry and get upset with you. Parents, stay strong. Please stay strong. Okay? Don't waver. Because one parent asked me, my kid, Form 5, asked for a camera because this is his last week in school and he wants to take all the farewell pictures and everything. I said, Teacher Anne, do I give him the camera? He wants a DSLR camera, I said, I can't answer that. This is your son. It's just that the parent wants permission whether to buy or not, right? I said, cannot. If you don't agree with it, just stand firm. But they want permission, the parent. It's very interesting. You hear all sorts. So now, removing privileges is this. They love spending time with the cousins. And the cousins are coming to the house. Now, you know what? If you don't do this, your cousins cannot come this weekend. Or we won't go to your cousin's house this weekend. That is removing privileges. It can be even handphones and stuff like that. And you remove means you remove. One day means one day. But don't say that you will remove it for a whole term. They cannot. they cannot, they'll fight you some more. Right, one day, okay. All right, if they do it again, then you increase it. All right? Or you say that you do this in return. Yeah, you've messed up here, now you do this in return to fix it. Yeah, then you have, and these are consequences. All right? It's productive, and they're all privileges in the form of privileges. Now, age 4 and below, now, the kids will cry, whack others, throw a tantrum because they're not happy with something. They're just upset with something. They will just throw the tantrum and they will yell. So the thing is that how to handle kids like this, the more you tell them to stop, is you focusing on the issue, they will do more. They will yell further, they will cry further. So we learned that dealing with little children who can't really talk and you can't reason with them yet is to shift their focus. Just shift their focus. Make sure that you sit down and do something really amazing. And then they'll come to you. Okay? Now this has worked. I cannot tell you how it's worked for me because I deal with students 5 years old, 4 years old, new to the class. They come in half an hour, they seem okay, no. Half an hour later, they packed their bag and went to the door, they want to go home. The father is not there, you know. So I had to say, okay, you know what? You can stay there and wait for daddy to come here. Then immediately what I did was, with the rest of the students, I would do the interesting things. And I tell, if you feel like joining us, come back and join us. No yelling, no, like say, oh, no way, come, you cannot go yet. No, don't convince. So, and then when he sees that the thing is fun, he came back. He came back. And so the same thing happens with your children. If they're throwing a tantrum or they get upset, don't say, it's okay, don't cry. Like my little granddaughter fell down, so you just hold them, let them finish crying. And they'll stop by themselves. Okay? The other one is you just, in classes, I would tell them, come and help teacher Anne. I need your help. Can you come along and help teacher Anne carry some books? They came, and then they stopped crying. Just ask them to do something. And kids love to help. They love to help. All right? Or you just turn around, bring out the ice cream, you know, or something, and they'll do with you. They'll come over. Okay? Does that help? This is for the little ones. Okay? Then once, this works until about 7 years old. After that, no. After that, no. They can be reasoned with already. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to let them cry it out. Yeah. I had one girl in my classes that cried for almost the whole lesson. You know, so we kept talking to her, advised her, talk to her, like just talk to her and all that. But then we also did other things, couldn't. But someday, then suddenly she stopped crying. She was okay. So things like that. And yeah, doing things together with them also helps. Okay, just pulling it out and say, you know, I'm serving ice cream. I'm getting ice cream for your koko, cheche, for daddy. Okay, come, help mommy. Yeah, help choose which flavor. Simple things like that. What you're doing is shifting their attention. All right? And even like sitting together, yeah, that one I've shared. I'm almost done actually. Now, what about rudeness? What happens if they speak to you in a rude manner? If in general, they talk to you, they're really, really good kids and they're very polite, but that particular day, the way they talk is very rude, okay, that is when you pull out, so what happened? Okay, what happened? What got you so upset? You connect. And you're curious. Does that make sense? At other times, say, come. Now, can you say, especially going to toilet, right? Teacher, toilet. Come. Okay, can you say this? Teacher, can I go to toilet, please? Say. So the student will say, can I go to toilet, please? I say, sure. Isn't that better? Go. That's it. So you can do the same thing at home. All right? If you don't like the way they speak to you, then you ask them, come. Tell them how you want them to say. Don't more than that. No, don't go and tell them any story already. Just tell them, okay, come. Can you say it this way? Repeat. And they say, yeah, go ahead. Because they expected to be scolded. And because you didn't scold them, they get, oh, right, I can do that, yeah? Okay? Right. So as you can see, I've experimented with thousands and thousands of students, okay? So this is what we teach our people. And a lot of them became some of them as daughters got a better relationship with their mothers, with my teachers, yeah? My teachers. And some of them, as parents, they were able to handle their children and bring them up to be very bright, you know, and very good relationship with the parents from a very young age, right? Now, you see, the thing is that either the question is when we react, the reactive parenting is that you get upset. The minute you get upset, you deal with them or you nag them. That is reactive parenting. So when you react, they are in control, you are not in control. The more they get into control, the more they know how to push your buttons exactly, and they can make you really, really, really mad. So what I do is I take back control. I take back control. The minute I do what they don't expect, I took back control already. Because I had kids who really, really challenge you, don't do their work. Every week coming in, don't do their work. Then they challenge the teachers, and I get called in to deal with the kid, right? Because the teachers are at their wits' end as well. So call them in. The first thing, they expect to be yelled at or punished. I say, okay, can you tell teacher Anne what is happening? Like, is there anything happening at home? Or is there anything happening outside of school that we don't know about? Okay, our job is here to help you, Wow, they expect to be scolded, and suddenly I say our job is here to help you. They didn't expect that. Then you see the turnaround. Suddenly they see you on their side. They need to see you as parents being on their side. And if you can't bring them to your side, then go to stand beside them. Go and stand beside them. And they will know it. Because come. Let's see how to get you to get better, get results by 5 marks better, okay? I work with you, so get your 5 marks better, all right? Parent can do that. That daddy will work with you so you can get 5 marks better, all right? Let's target for that. And when actually they do with you, you'll find it goes up to 10 one. Yeah. Do you like that? So, do you like the sounds of that? Yeah. Always remember. In fact, this is something you can do even with adults, even with your spouse and your partners. Now, who is in control? The minute you know that this anger is generated because of the person saying something or reacting, doing something, then they are in control. You need to take back the control. And that is not to react in the manner they expect. Come dear. Let's go out for a meal. Okay? Right, so just to give you an idea, right? So there's a difference between reacting and controlling. And react by not reacting is even better. It completely baffles them. Completely. Okay? It confuses them, and they really don't know how to react. I've seen that so many times, even with my own kids. All right? And the best part is it drives them nuts. Literally. Okay. Now, okay. The question I get is, so teacher Anne, you mean we don't smack them, we don't yell at them? No, that's not what I'm saying. Some kids need a yelling, some kids need a smacking. But when do you do it, this one? So a lot of parents also think that we grew up with rotan and everything, right? And we turn out okay. But have you seen the kids that didn't turn out okay? The number of young people that turn out not okay, especially you see them not being able to finish their education. The percentage is just too high for us to be okay with this. Do you get where I'm coming from? So we also see some very, very successful people, and that's how they went through when they were really young. I know Michael Jackson was one of them because the father was really, really rough and tough. And what I heard also is Michael Jordan's father as well. He was a very, very tough parent, and you see him as number one. But you have not seen the young people or the people who become adults that could not dig themselves out of that hole. Because once you go tough parenting, the kid is put in a hole, All right? And then not all of them can get themselves out of that hole. It can impact them for life. Some of them, it can be 20 years later before they actually get themselves out. Does that make sense? Yeah? So, now, how do you do tough parenting without putting your kid into the hole? Okay? The thing is teaching them how to take no for an answer. So sometimes you ask them, look, you are going to ask mommy and daddy for permission on this. Every time you ask, do I have the right to say no? Do I have the right to say no? If your expectation is every time I ask it must be a yes, then that's not a question. That's not a question anymore. You're not even asking. You're telling. And then me as a job as a parent, then there are times when I have to say no to you. Okay? So you come from that space. Does that make sense? All right? So teaching them how to say no, because if they know how to take no for an answer, they will also know how to say no outside. You'll be surprised. Okay? because they know that no is part of life, and that you're not going to be less popular, not loved just because you cannot say no. Because daddy says no ma sometimes, mommy also says no very often too, and yet I love them both. Make sense? All right, so they will see that out there, that they don't have to be yes, yes, yes all the time in order to be liked by people. Very, very powerful message to get across, okay? And you point it out to them. And the other one is, please, 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 older kid, don't make the older kid responsible for the young one, because it is a big, huge undertaking. It is a huge responsibility, right? Because I was the eldest, so I know what it's like. Right? Okay. But when I had my daughters, I made sure that they're about 2 years apart. So I would tell my elder daughter, please watch out for and this is like 3 years old, 1 year old. Please watch out for your sister, okay? And then I tell Grace, you watch out for Erica as well, okay? Can't do a thing, but never mind. But it feels good for Erica to hear that I've asked the younger sister to take care of her too. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. So watch out for the message you want for them. Just tweak it out. So and sometimes, okay, so when you scold the older one, they're going to not want to do anything with the younger sibling. And they get older, they can be really in altercation. So my two have to share everything. I put it there. You fight, you fight. The next thing is I'll remove it. Yeah? And I'll never buy two, just to appease and make sure they don't fight. I'll tell them, I'll only buy one. If you can't share, I don't buy at all. You make the decision, tell me now. Okay? 3, 4 years old, they can make those decisions for you, okay? Yeah. And so now the next thing is, especially asking older one to take care of the younger ones. Even, we get this at school as well. If the kid falls, they fall in the blink of an eye, right? And sometimes they do crazy things and which we didn't even expect them to do, and they get hurt. And the thing is that blaming doesn't work, because it's the nature of the children. They have no boundaries. They don't know what's going to hurt them. We have to watch them. But sometimes we miss it because it happens so quickly. So the only thing is deal with the issue. Okay? Don't blame. Don't blame. Because the kid who gets into trouble will learn to blame people. Yeah. Accountability they won't take. Okay? Yep. I'm almost done. Am I in time? Okay. The last bit is actually this. When do you smack? When do you smack? Should you smack? Oh yes, sometimes you may have to do a yelling. And if 80% of your time is you do the parenting the other way, sure, 20% of the time you can yell. All right? Because we are parents, we are humans. They can push us, right? And if it's countless time, okay, look, this is the rule. 3 times I ask you, the 4th time I will yell. And then the thing is that means you will only do when I yell, so next time I won't do the first 3 times, I will just yell straight away. Is that what you want? They train you to yell at them, They train teachers to be very strict teachers. Because the teachers who are nice, ask them nicely, they won't do. So I talk to them, I say, I give you nice teachers, so when they tell you nicely, are you going to do it, or you want them to yell? So I get them to yell at you first. Same thing with the parent. Ask them, you want me to yell? I can yell first. Then we save all the steps in between. Okay? Ask them to choose, they will choose for you. Okay? So, and only if they really, really push you, especially when things that could hurt somebody else or hurt themselves, this is where yelling will come in, or you may need to smack them. You smack them is actually to get them out of that emotion they are in, or that frame of thought they're in. Especially if you don't smack all the time. And where to smack, how to smack is another thing. Never smack on other parts of the body. Buttocks is okay. And then better use the hand, not the sayang hand. Use the other hand that's not the sayang hand. Alright? So that it doesn't equate. You want to keep it separate. Right? But the smacking is only at the buttocks, which is actually to get them out of that thing that they are in. Clear? Can, Right. So, okay. Next one is, yeah, this is the last slide already. Above all, remember, they're toddlers, they are kids, tweens, teens. At every stage, at every stage, They're all different. So when you see the teen, you see last time they used to listen, now they don't listen already. You know, they become, and this is what happens, the parents will do this. They have become very rebellious. It must be the friends they are mixing with or the school they are in all the time. But from this is upper primary to here, there's a big difference, you know. This is where they start to challenge. And I talked to some friends who are like, after they're supervisors of even the public schools and all that, they say, Teacher Anne, they call Anne, said the year Form 1, Form 2, the toughest years. You know, Form 1 not so bad because they're still fresh from primary school. But the minute they hit Form 2, they're challenging everything already. But then they are still very immature. They don't think first. They say it's the toughest age. Yes, it's true. Year 7, Year 8, tough age. Especially if they're in the same school. They know everything. But if they shift from one school to the other, so they still have that 1 year trying to get used to having all these seniors, right? But if they're in the same school, Year 7, Year 8, very, very challenging. Year 9, they start to settle down, or they start hitting 15, 16 years old. And biologically, it has to do with how their brain, the maturity of their brain, the emotions will come in first, so they react first. Then there's another part that controls emotions. If that one comes in at the same time, they will be able to regulate themselves. Otherwise, they look like someone you don't recognize. Right, then when they get to 15, 16, 17 years old, they come down again and they look like, oh, everything is back in order. All right, yeah. So, if you like to raise confident, matured, disciplined kids, yes, I have social media that I will have more and more videos coming out on as well. Now, you see this young lady over here, I just have a story to tell to end the whole thing. I taught her since she was about Form 2, but I taught the younger brother from Form Standard 5. So I taught both. And then her husband that she got married to was also an ex-student. I taught her husband from Standard 5 to Form 5, and the husband's older brother from Form 4 to Form 5. Okay, now the older brother's kid is in our school. Now these two got married in Penang. The parents are from Penang. They are living in London. They flew back and we came back to Penang for their wedding. I came over and it was at Blue Mansion. Okay, and then I ended up having to officiate their wedding because I knew both of them. Okay, so you see the kind of, I get to watch these kids, is what I'm saying, right? I've watched them. They're such phenomenal students, and yet they stay with me until Form 5. Who goes for tuition when the English is already very strong, right? That English is super strong. All four of them came through my. So what is it that kept them coming back? What is it that keeps them close to you, right? This is exactly what I'm sharing. So recently they came back and visited me because they're considering now moving back from London. And I just got word from the mom, she showed me that the husband's mother, that they just gave birth because when they came back, she was pregnant already. Yeah. Okay. So this is the kind of generational thing that we have seen, and really, really great kids. And what is it takes to grow them that way? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing so interesting for your stories. So actually,
Let me pass this to you so you can.
Do I need that? Oh, no need. It's okay. Yeah.
Okay, right.
Okay. So yeah, I have a question about that one. Just now, you did mention about the consequences, right? So if they do not do that, okay, like maybe you like take away the things like maybe toys for like 1 or 2 days. Yeah, actually I did that. Yep. But it seems like it's not really work for them. Maybe like you say, need to increase the days you take away the things. Okay. Right.
Okay. Carry on first, and I'll help you.
Okay. Yep. So, but it still come back, not like keeping out the things after they just throw out all the toys over the floor. Then after playing, all those, they know, my kid, he knows, okay, or we need to keep that. After I play, I will keep that. So initially he will say that, but after all, he didn't do that. He say, I don't want to do that. I don't want. Just say don't want.
Yeah.
Then I say, I do it with you together. Don't want as well. I don't want. Just don't want. Then I say, I keep for you. Yes, you keep. Then I say, I keep for you. Then you have 2 days cannot touch your toys already. Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, yes. Kids are like that. You see how they know how to push your boundaries? That's them pushing your boundaries, you know. So now you got to figure out a bigger way of handling that. Now, first and foremost is you may need to gamify the putting things away. This one came from a parent that I know. What they do is, because there are apps that allows you, to put every day 4 minutes. we put timer. How fast can we do this? All right.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and you put away as quick as possible. Together.
Okay.
So it becomes something fun, right? And then okay, so we did it within 4 minutes. Why don't we do it the other way? We time and see how fast we do it. You know, and if we can beat the clock with this one, then okay, come, let's go and have, maybe what you do something together with him. Daddy read you an extra story. Yeah, like that. So you turn it, you can gamify it. The other one is, yes, they are right. Yeah, I challenge you to see whether you can see through your consequence or not. Okay, so it doesn't matter if I don't see that toy, because they have a lot of other toys. There are other things they can do, correct? So then the toy is not the privilege you need to remove. You need to remove the privilege that really, really hits them. You got to think about that one, because you know your child the best. Okay, sometimes it's a reward. They go the other way instead. Okay, so the minute you do that, what is it that they want to do? You know what? Let's collect stickers. Stickers work very well as well. Then you have this chart. You just put there and then put the name. Yeah, and then you put down like every day they earn stickers. Then you can put together. Okay, let's say 5 stickers. What are we going to do together? 10 stickers. What are we going to do together? This one is from Dr. James Dobson, the book Dare to Discipline. Okay, because you can say no, now you get them to do the thing. But I said you're going to buy them the stuff anyway, you're going to take them there anyway. Why don't you let them earn it? You know, so it can be, if they're older and they want to play 10 minutes longer after, like before bedtime, if bedtime is an issue, then okay, that you want to relent a little bit, that okay, this one we agree, after 5 then you can do 10 minutes, but you get this card that you can use once, you know. Yeah, they can use once. On a day when they use the card, then okay, I'll let you sleep 10 minutes later. That kind of thing you can do. So you come up with different ways of handling the fact that he challenged you on the putting things away. All right? Does that help?
Yeah, may try.
You got to try. And sometimes you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. Because this is an ongoing thing, right? It either becomes a habit for both of you that you have fun. The other one is, okay, let's toss. So certain things you got to pack away properly. Let's toss into the basket. Let me see how many we can get it in the basket. You get in more or daddy gets in more. You know?
Okay,
all right?
Okay.
So, yeah.
Made in a fun way.
Yes, correct. Gamify. So again, the reaction is not what they expect from you. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So the other one is sometimes it's more about, the other one, people also tend to, I have parents who will control the amount of toys for them as well. Like in Christmas, they get so many, so they get to open one a week or one in every 2 days and things like this, not all at one go.
Okay.
You know? So it can be that if they don't put it away, we'll delay the opening another 2 days.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you keep those things in your pocket that you can pull out when you need it. Birthday present also a lot. Don't pull it all out in one go. Yeah, you pull it. It can open it, but then you get to play with one first. So you choose. Another one, you give 2 days later, you take out the other one. You choose the next one. So you teach them how to make decisions, and because they got to choose which one they want first, and then you also teach them delayed gratification at a young age, and they learn to, the Cantonese cham siong, they learn to work with you rather than fight you.
I see.
Okay?
I see. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
All right. Yes. Sure.
And this is from Murofa Alzira. Thanks for your question. So she said that she has a 4-year-old this year, and he enjoyed going to school, but she got a feedback from the teacher that the teacher scolded the daughter, to scold the son because he's not diligent enough in studying.
He's not what?
He's not diligent.
Diligent enough. Okay.
Probably in school, the teacher sees him as not diligent, but it means he will lose his confidence from going to school. So what should we do, or what should the parents do?
Okay, actually how we anchor the child at home is really critical, because a child wanting to go to school means they're doing fine. Number one is they're doing fine. Now it's coming down to the work, right? So what the parent can do is be that supportive parent, you know, figure out a way so that the kid will do the work and get it done faster. So, okay, one of my ex-students had difficulty getting the son to sit still and do the work. Okay, so I checked with her. I said, I have a feeling from the sound of it, the son could be very kinesthetic, must move on. So I said, why don't you test it out this way? give him a clipboard, put his book there, and let him walk around. And he does his work as he walks around. He can sit there on the floor and, because the key thing is that what is the purpose? We want them to do their work, or we want them to sit still. Two different things, you know. So in this case, you want them to be happy in school. Or is it we want them to, the number one is happy in school. Now you know that if he doesn't do what the teachers need, he's going to be unhappy, he'll get into trouble, and he could lose his confidence. So as a parent, that one we may need to step in, because you can't control the teacher, you cannot control the school, but what you can do is you can help your child. Okay, so help him maybe get his work done faster, so that the teacher sees that he's more serious. We need to go through the work, and then on the part of the parent, I got a parent to do this. You can negotiate with your child. Let's do this together, you know, and let's see how much time we need to take to finish today. Okay, if it's longer, we will do this together. If it's shorter, we do this together. He can do all this. So he can even make decisions together with you. Now, always bear in mind though, kids are kids. They will challenge you. They will challenge you. And it doesn't mean the first time it will work. You may have to, and what I have done is sometimes one way doesn't work, the next time I come up with another way. It's just that I don't stop thinking. I don't stop trying to find a creative way or a response that they didn't expect. Okay? That's how I came up with so many. Because I've got so many different types of students. It doesn't work here, then I have to figure out another thing. And sometimes it takes me 5 attempts to get through. You see? So, and they will challenge. Then the next thing is, if they are challenging for the sake of challenging, then you got to see who has more stamina. This really got me very clear in Dr. James Dobson's book. They will challenge. They will see whether you are drawing the line all the time. If your line is firm, then it will be, they decide when they say, okay, teacher, you win, or mommy, you win, or daddy, you win, and then they will listen. So if it takes 101 times, you go to that 101 times. If it takes 1,001 times, you do 1,001 times. Okay? But in the meantime, you don't do the same thing, because you all know, Einstein also says already, if you do the same thing and expect a different result, no, we are attempting, this way cannot, this, but we keep going at it. Yeah. But is it shocking enough? Is it unexpected enough? Then sometimes it's just saying the right thing at the right time. And I've gone through, I've got a kid, I went through 4 years with her, you know, I couldn't get through to her. Okay, couldn't get through to her. But the 5th year, she told the mom, now I understand what teacher N wants me to do. And why she's doing it this way. Sometimes it comes to that far, you know. Yeah. But then the parent didn't let go. Must come to teacher N's class, must come to teacher N's class. You know, the class, we don't yell at her, you know, but we encourage her to come and do the work. But then the teenagers, spend time in your class or go out with their friends, or they can chat with their friends or go on their phones. I will lose, right? So I'll do whatever it takes to help her and, you know, get excited. But if this doesn't get, but then I hope one day it'll get through to her, right? Yeah. So,
And I would like to ask a follow-up questions from that. I like the concept of react in a way they don't expect. So I want to ask you that the creative expectation, the way they think of, is this something negative, means that is negative to the children, or positive means that is that like punishment or things like negative?
okay.
Or something like positive?
Good question, good question. Usually go for positive. You see, what you want is that behavior to be done, right? Or you want the thing done. So you think of what can get it done, okay, rather than punishment, okay? So, but it can come with a consequence. Remember, always think in the form of consequences and in the form, because the children need to learn how to be accountable and be responsible. That is where consequence comes from, because consequence means they made a decision. Okay? Punishment, we punish, but the consequence can be a punishment, but then they chose to be punished. Different thing altogether. Alright? So if after two, 3 times that doesn't work, okay, then the consequence. I will share with you what the consequence. That's where the consequence can be a punishment. Alright? But if you want to have, and that's about removing privileges. If you want more ideas, please get hold of this book. I have a new teen by Friday. Or have a new kid by Friday if it's a child below 12. If it's a teenager, have a new teen by Friday. Very easy to read. You can even flip to the section that you want because it's addressing the very problem that you want. When I read that book, I had already been doing this for like 20 years, you know, and even more. And when I read it, I was like, oh my God, now I understand why it worked. I understand now why the kids keep wanting to come back to our classes, why my daughters are close to me. Yeah. I guarantee you it's very, very strong, very powerful, and it works. Okay? And very immediate, you know. The other one is the one Dare to Discipline by Dr. James Dobson. That's the one that also will give you boy-girl relationships as well, especially if you have teenagers and how to handle that when they get older. So it's good to know when they're younger and like twins, the age of twins, so that you know what to do when they become teenagers. Yeah.
Right. I have a couple of questions here. I think you will extend a bit to answer the question.
Sure.
Right. Even online has two questions. So one, she wants to know whether is there a center in Penang, and I'm sure that we do, okay? And then how to deal with kids who always wanted to win and be number one. So yeah, I have the same problem. My kids always want to be number one.
How old are they?
How old are they? My kid is about 7.
Okay. Yeah, because at certain ages, they hate losing. They really, really hate losing. They want to win. They'll cry if they don't win, you know. So yes, we do. That's why I asked. If they're older, then we might need to check and see whether there's something that happened with them that this number one thing must be foremost. But when they are younger, at 7 and 8 years old, around, and even 5 and 6, sometimes that's why as adults also we let go so that they win. They understand the little wins. Okay, so when this one, if they lose and they get upset, this is where you can don't dismiss them. Don't dismiss their feelings, right? Because person, no, it's just a game only. It's okay, right? And we have to learn how to lose as well. So that's dismissing. Just say, okay, what is it that you feel when you don't win? Yeah, you help them to start to unpack. This is called unpacking their emotions, you know. And when you start talking like this, because they have to think about how to answer. So it moves them away from feeling, and then also connecting with them. And this is one way you start to get your kids to learn to be very expressive on how they feel. Initially, they'll find it very difficult to put into words. You don't feel good, right? If they can't seem to get, okay, then they say yes, okay. So, what about losing? What about the fact that you didn't win makes you feel like that? Okay? And if you don't know how to answer now, it's okay. Let's try and work on it together. All right? Yeah. So you go down that path. So a lot of tools are already there. It's just when to pull it out that they can use. Yeah. But around that age, yes, even 5, 6 years old, they cannot lose one.
Queuing up, they always want to queue in front, and then the teacher push him back, and then he just like he start moving.
Yeah.
Right, and then go in front. Then I keep asking, why do you want to be heard? To say, yeah, so that I get to go home earlier, this kind of thing.
Then that one we had to go down the path of talking to them about manners and respect lah. Like if you are first, we would never allow another person to chum in front of you. No way. That one I can promise you. But if you're standing there, we have to wait our turn. Yeah, because in kindergarten we actually do this with the students, because we want to teach taking turns, right? Taking turns. So what we do is synchronize movement for a performance, right? So if it's everybody standing in line and 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, you take turns doing that. Then we show you, see, so beautiful. So now we take them into talking about taking turns. So in the real world, you do have to take turns. And when you take turns, you see how beautiful things move very smoothly. And then you can tell them also, yeah, we drive around, the adults also don't follow this, you see that. So you acknowledge what they see. Yeah, and how does that feel when people cut our queue? Well, I can tell you, mommy inside is like upset and fuming and, that kind of thing. So it allows them to learn also how to verbalize how they feel. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
And one last question from Michelle. She's looking for advice to manage teenage boys struggling on responsibility because given a task at 2 p.m. and then only 6 PM, the code start to get dry, you know, like, so it's a delay response.
Okay,
of
chores.
parents to-
Yeah. Okay, this one, it has to do with chores. Now, you need to get the kids to start seeing chores as something that they are responsible for. That's what the parent is trying to, as a parent, you're trying to. So the key thing now is to look backwards. Every time they do chores, is it a negative emotion that gets attached to it or a positive one? If it is, they've been getting scolded a lot before and getting nagged at before because they just didn't do. They're kids, they want to play. So what you need to do is to start turning it around. Okay, so start turning it around. So you see, parents are looking at 2 o'clock and then 6 o'clock it doesn't get done. Now when you give it to the kid, all right, then you ask them, at what time are you going to do this? Okay, get them to commit to a time. So they commit to a time, then let them figure out the consequence. So if at that time you didn't do it, what do you think should be the consequence? What if you do it at that time? What consequence do you want to see? You know, test it out and see. Test it out. Then at other times outside of this clothing thingy, whenever he helps out and he's saying, you know, mommy, can be daddy also. Daddy is very thankful that you helped me, you know, because I see it. So thank you very much. High five. Give a hug or something. And sometimes you can go and get the other partner to do it for you, right? So, you know, mommy told me, wow, I tell you, as mommy, you will earn credits with your son, okay? And get daddy to tell the son, mommy told me you did this. You know, mommy is so happy. Yeah, you just made mommy so happy. And when daddy heard it, daddy was also very happy. Wow. When I talk like this, I have goosebumps because it really changes the relationship with the kid. Yeah. So you find them and get them the feedback on the things that they have done that you're happy about.
Right.
Or, hey, come, let's go and hang clothes together. And as they hang clothes, okay, they start chatting. Hey, you know what? Let's figure out what to do this weekend. Okay?
Great.
Yeah.
And so let's end this up and share more about your education here that you're building.
Oh.
Because I think now everyone is very interested to know. Yeah. Some comments.
Okay, right. Actually, the whole thing came about when I started the schooling system was because I couldn't take it with what I was seeing. The feedback I was getting with the students in college and the students who were coming to my English classes. And my daughter, when she was 13 years old, she asked me, Mommy, how come I used to enjoy kindergarten so much and now I don't want to go to school? So I had to apologize to her and say I got to apologize on behalf of the government because the curriculum is like this, right? So it really got me thinking, and that's why I decided to start it, but I had to wait until they finished Form 5. And then we did it. But when we did it, we threw away the entire system. We decided, okay, we don't look at what works elsewhere, we just took away everything and start from scratch and see what didn't work, let's figure out. What didn't work, let's figure out what to do. So the whole entire education system we built came from that space. So for many people, it's not recognizable. The first thing is we want the kids to want to come to school. And we have that problem in our school. Our kids don't want holidays. Primary, secondary kids, they don't want holidays. So what do I need to train my people to do in order to make sure the kids want to come to school? You know, the mandate in our school is that the teachers must build rapport with every single child. That is their target. Now, failing which, if they hit 80%, also very good, right? And then they are working on the other 20%. If they've got 50% of students that they build rapport, it's not good enough for me. They need to build 100% because the minute you have a rapport with them, that's when you can impact young people's lives. Okay? Now, the other one, the mandate is for them to, to get the kids to love their subject. Wow! Which physics teacher has been given that mandate that they must get all the kids to love physics? People don't even think about that, right? Okay, it's just about going in, deliver, and they leave. But no, my teachers have to figure out how to get the kids to love physics. And I'm not a science person. I'm a very, very language-based person. So the math and the science classes were really, really difficult for me. Okay, and I gave up on it. And I went to art stream, even though I could go to science stream back then. My sister is the brainy one. you know, the brain, the science brain and the math brain. But I'm very strong, I can out-talk her. So we have different strengths. But the school does not really cater for that. Yeah, so on our side, what we need to do is to make sure that we have a lot of the human side in all the subjects that are very technical. So we do a lot of presentations, and can you imagine that my students have to debate math? You know, so it's very unconventional because we just put the human element back into the curriculum. And that's why, you know, I can give you all this, and it's from hearing the students struggling with this subject, that subject, and hearing from even the person who's leading our national STEM movement, that most teachers, I can't even use the word STEM. Parents don't understand it, number one, right? I have to use science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Then, oh, wow, okay, that is very powerful. And and she told me as well, teachers that teach physics will not do STEM activities because there's biology, chemistry, they don't know what to do with. They need content there. They don't have the content, so they cannot take it on. So how then do you do that? So our classes it's like crossing over. Physics, you cross over to chemistry, because if you like it or not, when you have, what do you call it? You see, I forget the terms. Okay, light physics. No. Okay. What is that called? Electrolysis. Electrolysis is in both physics and chemistry. You get what I'm saying? It crosses over. But when you teach physics, then it's separate from physics. So from chemistry. So those things are the ones that we look at. We even look at bringing the art into. Sorry. Oh, okay. Yes. So yeah, actually. Yes, the school, finally, it took us 8 years to get to this point. We're so happy to be able to, get back our old school, the convent school, in order to set up the international school. All right? And so for us, you can check in with us and send contact. Maybe you all can help if you want to, or directly you have access to, sorry?
The website.
Yeah. Check our website as well, our Duyamas and Sriyamas Ace EdVenture website. The announcement will come out so you know where to go get more information. Yeah. So, but that's what we do. It's everything we've heard from the children, and we change it out. We teach them the way they need to learn, not from what we think, how they should learn. So it's very unconventional. So yes, I do get into trouble because it is unconventional. Yeah, because people think that we're too lenient. No, we're not. My boundaries are just wider, yeah? But then when they hit my wall, I've got wall, I don't have lines on the floor, I've got walls. You hit the wall, you hurt yourself. So it's just like, open that bigger, but you do those things that are really unacceptable. We don't just say you have to respect people, but if you do push the boundary and you bully people, or you are calling names and making people unsafe to come to school, that's where my wall comes in. Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's very, very different how we handle the schooling. So thank you for being interested. Yeah, it took a long time to do this, 40 years.
Yeah. Quite interesting. So, do we still have questions?
No.
So done.
So thank you very much for spending time with us. I hope you got a lot out of it.